We traded eating humans for demons, and it got worse. We are trapped inside a fiend's stomach. It is slowly digesting us alive. It's called Cruniac, the fiend aloof. It is the year of our Lord 916 in this old world, and nature is dying. For 12 years we have endured Cruniac's sprawling cloud gut, breathing its rot, all of us slowly being digested alive while starving. The mountain has stirred. Cruniac is awakening, an evil omen. Eldritch Ermengild, the emperor who returned from Cruniac's bellows, brought us life from hell's jaws. Food. The flesh of the mountain itself can be eaten. Cruniac's flesh keeps us alive. The emperor solved the hunger, but not without cost. The flesh of the living mountain breaks the mind. So we feed it to animals. Let them go mad. Consume everything but the head. The brains get haunted. We eat the meat, starch heavy, barely safe, but it keeps us alive inside the gut. The sun is dead to us, lost beyond Cruniac's sprawling stomach. Humanity is fading. No crops grow. The silos are empty. Somehow things are getting worse. Armies, plagues, curses, all encroaching under its cloud gut. Humanity is eating the one that feeds on it. This is where you come in. You are a drifter. You walk the edge of the caravans, watching, waiting. No noble house, no oath, and yet you and yours carry weight. Join the caravan. We carry the flesh of the living mountain across dying lands to the last human strongholds, the bergs perched above the gut. Your task is simple. Protect the convoy, feed the living, delay the end, fight in our line. Stay vigilant and people survive. Leave and they perish. The longer you stay with the caravan, the more reach safety. Drift away and they are lost, slaughtered, eaten, and forgotten. There are others in the dark within the gut, the Fae. They watch. They measure the strength of our bond and the steadiness of our will. If you stand with us, you make the caravan stronger. If you join and then abandon us, you leave behind everything you have drawn to our path. So choose carefully. If you decide to return to the light, join the caravan. We are Eldritch's chosen, redeemed by Christ, and repurposed by the Emperor. We leave our cannibal past behind and struggle back toward humanity. Everything we earn goes back into the convoy. Bigger caravans, better guards, longer routes, so more can live inside Cruniac's innards, so the darkness below does not claim us. Arm yourself. Join the militia. Tell us who you are in the comments nailed to the wall. Name, strengths, skills. And when the convoy moves, stay with us. Because inside Cruniac's gut, those who drift are already dead. Cruniac is an absurd abomination. Its size shifts from season to season and decade to decade. Its height ranging on a whim from that of a small hill to that of the tallest mountain. It grows in girth and then shrivels to a husk. At times its flesh swells deep purple with vascularity, expanding in slow tectonic throbs. At others it hangs pale and wrinkled, folding into itself and retreating into its own shadow. Hairs as thick as trees grow on it for centuries, only to be shed in a day. Fine strands as thin as gossamer cloud together in milky veils around it, to be spirited away by the gentlest breeze into swaths as large as crop fields. Sores appear on its sides when it slumbers for too long, sores that pour literal rivers of pus into the world around it. Storms of fetid gas escape its gargantuan tissue crevasses. Rancid smells that can only form from a corpse the size of a mountain spread its myriad diseases in the four winds. Milky eye clusters peer from corpulent meat meadows. Columns of smog escape its many mouths, forming a dark sheet above to protect its pale flesh from daylight. Basalt-like teeth grind incessantly in scores of mouths, gnashing a monotonous song. A living demonic anthill. Upon its surface and within it, Scores of crisscrossing armored fiend hordes move with mad purpose. These fiends are Cruniac's enforcers. They range in size from that of a man to that of a house. Armored in steel-hard keratin and armed with barbed tentacles, they coordinate with a hive mind sort of coordination on the battlefield. Each and every one of them has a unique grisly design, vaguely resembling human form, as if in mockery of our Creator. They are simply called Cruniacs by the small folk, as there is no way to distinguish between their will and that of their prodigious progenitor. All can feel the mountain coming for them, with tremors fidgeting closer and closer and closer. It spreads its flesh beneath the surface all around it like a cancer, uprooting trees, prodding landslides, drinking rivers and lakes, turning them into literal sweat swamps and piss bogs. This is what all folk call Cruniac, that which can be seen from afar, yet the greatest evil is its innards. Cruniac is pregnant with evil. An endless source of malign creation is its womb and mind. From its surplus of fermenting evils, it spews upon the world hosts of progeny that clear the land of all life, preparing it to be swallowed by the gargantuan meat expanse. This threat to all life must be opposed at every turn, fought at all borders. For the most part, all flee the approach of Cruniac, but some hardened border pioneers put up a dogged resistance. One of the Emperor's reforms was settling his mercenary cohorts within the northern baronies. This provided that god-forsaken land a nucleus of resistance for all peoples living there. Along with the questorial presence in some of the knightly orders, humanity's presence there forms a highly regimented foothold. What triggers mixed reactions is the way they have adapted to fighting Cruniac. All sane creatures there wear plague doctor garbs to fend off the foul odors and diseases sweeping their way. Not only the humans, but all domestic animals as well. Most of the wild animals have long since abandoned the region around Cruniac. As the meat fields expand, all greenery breaks contact with the soil, and in short time dies. Thus, herbivores are nowhere to be found in Cruniac-corrupted lands. Most of the carnivores follow their game out of Cruniac's shadow. Others sinisterly adapt. Eating of the Cruniac is not a practice that can be sustained for too long. While eating some of the flesh will have no immediate results, prolonging this unwholesome diet inevitably dooms the consumer. The northern baronies pioneers soon discovered that any eater of the Cruniac grows gradually insane, be it human or animal. Thus, roaming Cruniac's living expanses are hordes of rabid rats and huge murders of malign crows that peck and nibble at the prodigious horizon monster. Apparently, the settlers found out that the curse's power is broken after the first cycle, so they started farming muted, insane pigs for sustenance. All settlements in the Cruniac-infested lands are overcrowded. All buildings are overstacked to the limits of structural stability. Thus, one finds pig farms stacked 6 stories high, overfilled with muted, insane pigs that are being fed the pickled flesh of the horizon monster, Cruniac. Why would anyone live in such a manner? Territory and desensitization. One can grow accustomed to many things, horrible or good, and a place to live is a commodity that only the privileged may pick. The border forts support mining colonies that harvest flesh, bone, and skin from Cruniac. These tissues are extracted at great peril, with great half-breed life investments. The alchemical processing industry and manufacturers are the lifeline of all border baronies. Tanned Cruniac leather, processed sinews, stabilized fluids, and most of all, Cruniac black pearls are worth more than their weight in gold on the right markets. Human ingenuity and audacity makes up for the lack of wholesomeness in this tense humanity Cruniac affair. Cruniac is vast. God only knows how deep he spreads beneath the surface of the earth. Some claim he is underneath the whole world. Regardless, it is certain that his gut covers all the low places. His sprawling stomach is a form of very low mesh of ebbing clouds that spring forth from the living mountain. Flakes of translucent flesh and heavy downpour of fluids soak everything below. This sludge creates a swath of mud all over the plains and valleys, slowly replacing the sun-deprived vegetation. The chill air, kept constant by the stomach veil, slowly eats away at the wills of all enduring people with something akin to malign intent. Yes, the cold has an ill will of its own. It picks its victims with capricious interest and makes life all the more difficult for them, as uncomfortable cold becomes frostbite, causing currents in midsummer. This phenomenon was given a name by the small folk, grave wind. This is not the only pest that Cruniac blights the world with. Out here, steel does not rust. It does not get the chance to. It sickens. We call it iron barnacles, a creeping blight that clings and grows, weakening the metal beneath until it becomes brittle, unreliable. A slow death for weapons, and a faster one for the man holding them. These small Cruniac spawns grow to the size of a man's fist on anything that has iron in it. So we coat everything: resin, wax, paint, anything to seal it, anything to hold the sickness back. Some paint prayers into the coating, crosses, names, fragments of scripture. Others scribble curses, warnings meant for things that do not speak, but might still be swayed by a jinx. The most pragmatic use, anything and everything. Their armor's a patchwork of color stains. No faith, no belief, just survival. Day by day, as this plague spreads its corruption, the world is pushed in dyeing itself with a cacophony of colors. Maybe it's the harsh way the fabric of humanity is being abused in this old world. Maybe it's the way humans would act in any world. We don't know why exactly, but mystery cults are more and more dominant these end of days. Knowledge cults have always been a powerful seducer for the city-state population. Most burghers have trades they practice, and are part of at least one brotherhood or guild. Ascending from one step of life to another, through rites of initiation, apprenticeship, tutelage, and discreet loyalty, are induced from childhood. There are many shades of cult-like behavior in the burgs. Predating Christianity, the old pagans had secret societies in which they dedicated themselves to self-discovery, the pursuit of wisdom, or carnal pleasures. With the emergence of our Lord's High Church into power, these cults were forbidden and became buried into the civil fabric through secrecy and wit. Holy prostitution became illegal as well, and reshaped itself in the polyamorous bacchanalias that fornicate our people closer to hell. All of these are illegal, a prohibition enforced by the questorial presence. But I don't consider them responsible for what most seriously threatens the civic virtue of our people. My greatest fears are related to the use of alchemicals on a wide scale. The two most powerful political communities, the High Federation and the Commonwealth, have diametrically opposed stances with regards to alchemical use. The high nobles respect self-emancipation through the sheer power of will, the ability of one to manifest destiny through his own might. They regard alchemicals as a crutch for the weak and hold the users in contempt. Moreover, they believe that wide use of these agents will weaken the fabric of humanity, making society brittle as a whole. The Commonwealth believes it is time for the masses of the burgs to ascend into being as a new reborn archetypal man. The main point of the thesis is that humanity is on the point of collapse, and that the population needs to fight back against its foes with all the alchemically induced might to ensure the survival of the race, devoid of fear, weakness, and superstition. Such powerful traits may be induced in their view through whatever means possible, even by addictive alchemicals. Their thesis being that only the first few generations will incur addiction, the future ones building a resilience to the side effects if properly managed. Another point of their thesis suggests that addiction and side effects will lower in power as the alchemicals become more refined. Without the sacrificial addiction of the first few generations, The future ones will not be able to rip the benefits of tested and improved alchemicals. What makes things worse is that there is a sub-faction within the Commonwealth that somehow has reach even over the wills of some from the High Federation as well. Enkal is his name, and many followers he has, from all walks of life. The Enkalites first partake in an imbuing ritual that loads their mind with a caller that reaches out to Enkal during sleep. Once this dream bond is established, Enkal projects a mind balm that soothes whatever mental strain the cultist has. A bond is thus established, through which Enkal projects mental soothing and humanist ideals, slowly further influencing the user towards the Commonwealth spectrum of ideas. There is also a dangerous side to Enkal's visions, an apocalyptic prophecy that a half-elf will be born to oppose humanity's antagonist, in this narrative called the Bound Angel. The conflict will be so great that it will engage all humanity and further force their hand into adopting mass use of alchemicals. This would be a nightmare. Already we can see the results of alchemical abuse. There are those for whom death lies of sweet release. They wait for us every time, same place, same madness, gathering in the old cathedral to frolic. And when we pass, they charge, not to win, but to die. They call it a ritual, an offering to themselves. They believe death in battle will appease their boundless thirst. They crave it, the rush, more and more, until it hollowed them out. Excess has made them callous to stimuli. What normally happens to all that subdue themselves to cults of the flesh happened to them tenfold, due to the alchemiclas that heightened their experiences. These induced raptures caused them to change over time, a hardening of the heart, a closing of the mind, no mystery of the flesh unknown to them, and yet they can derive no more pleasure or sensations from their abused bodies. We oblige them. They fight hard, too hard, their bodies shaped by alchemical abuse, shaking, burning. They do not fear death. They want it, like lambs that chose the slaughter. We use alchemicals to harden us for war. They use alchemicals to potentate their orgies. No matter. The result is the same. We look upon them with compassion and revulsion, knowing that other than for the grace of Christ, we are the same. We cycle alchemical use within the warband so that we avoid the extreme states of anhedonia, but we are all doomed to be desensitized and dehumanized over time. Christ commands us to love our enemies. I try, but my heart races for the killing. They sold their souls to the devil. Calling him Cruniac does not change that. They willingly made masters of their flesh. They were once like us, fathers, workers, mercenaries. They chased knowledge and found ruin. They claimed wisdom and became deceived into numbness. We form ranks, shields lock, cannulas bite deep. The elixirs burn, reminding us we are the same with the ones we are about to slay. But for the blood of Christ, we are all spiritual beggars. They hit us, and they do not break. Steel, bone, flesh. So we ruin them, an abattoir of men. We carve them like cattle to the last. When it ends, the ground is red, the air thick. Half the brothers want their heads. Calloused brains fetch well. The Christian half-orcs refuse. They say even these are made in God's image. No trophies, no desecration. So we burn them, pyres along the road. We stand watch so nothing feeds on them. But in the thorns I see the ones who follow, the hungry, the waiting. And tomorrow they will be here to pick the pyres clean. You made it this far. Good. Now you meet the one who keeps you alive. I am Hortigan, a Templar, a fanatic. I have killed so my kin may live, and I would die for God. They call me a brute, a murderer, a relic of an older age. The freethinkers in the burgs would call me evil. Fine, I will be evil, because today we have butchered them. Not soldiers, but believers like us. the Cruniac cultists. Of them all, only the most gone over the edge seek death in combat. Even in this state, they would have a choice. Redemption can be found even for their number, yet they refused it, choosing to enact old pagan rites instead. Death was dealt, and their fate was sealed in blood. The road narrows, the trees thin, the air shifts, and then it opens. Traswald, the capital of the northern burgs, walls rising into a dead sky, built to outlast whatever gnaws at the world below. This is where the refugees come, all of them, from broken lands and dying roads, hoping for entry, for shelter, for something that resembles safety. Some make it inside, most do not, and we bring them what little we can: flesh, salt, time. A few more days of life carried on wagons through a dying world.